Homefront opens with Nolan confessing to Bishop that he lost a suspect after falling headfirst into a cactus. He thinks it's the lowest moment of his rookie career, until things get worse when he's served a lawsuit by an upset civilian. His assigned attorney, Simon Parks, is a well-known legal figure, and Bradford assures him there's no need to stress. But everyone's attention shifts when they see homicide detective Jenkins being taken away by internal affairs. It turns out Jenkins lied under oath, leading to the wrongful conviction of a woman named Samantha, played by Shelley Roberts. He's added to the Brady list, putting all his past arrests under scrutiny. Gray tells the teams to follow up on 3 former felons recently released due to Jenkins' misconduct. Before heading out, Nolan meets his attorney, Simon Parks Jr., Robbie A.K., who's actually handling his very first case. They track down their suspect, Harry Wright, Charles Baker, who was let out early on an attempted murder charge. He recognizes Bishop, but she brushes it off and encourages him to make the most of his second chance. He mentions someone named Dylan, prompting Nolan to ask questions, but Bishop quickly shuts the topic down. Later, Nolan attends arbitration and offers to assist Simon, but Simon insists he's got it covered. As the hearing begins, the judge, Greg Henry, doesn't seem impressed. But Simon tries to use body cam footage and highlight the plaintiff's history of complaints against officers, but it doesn't help. The opposing lawyer, Joseph C. Phillips, presents new footage showing Nolan shoving the plaintiff in what looks like a deliberate act. Nolan's attempts to defend himself only seem to make things worse as the plaintiff demands even more in damages. Meanwhile, Bishop visits Dylan, Caleb Castillo, at his home to check up on him. She's worried he might slip back into old habits, and it's revealed that the two were once foster siblings. Bishop apologizes for keeping her distance, explaining that being close to him posed a risk to her career. But Dylan brushes it off, saying he doesn't really know her anymore, so it's fine. Still concerned, Bishop looks into any known associates of Terry, Dylan's friend, but Gray warns her to be careful, especially now with the department under increased scrutiny and harassment claims being a serious concern. That night, Bishop decides to follow Dylan and spots him meeting with Terry. When they pull weapons from a vehicle, she moves in to intervene, but she's ambushed by a third accomplice, Maurice. They force her into a van and discuss plans to rob a stash house. After the robbery, they return. Morris is gone, and Dylan is injured, but Terry shows no concern. With Bishop missing, Gray contacts Nolan, who immediately leaves his arbitration hearing despite the possible fallout. Terry takes them to a secluded lot, intending to kill Bishop in front of Dylan. Just as he's about to pull the trigger, Dylan shoots Terry from behind, saving her life. Though he came through in the moment, Bishop still arrests him, believing it's the only way to truly help him. Back at the station, Nolan tells Bishop she can open up to him if she ever needs to. She admits she does need to talk, but decides it's best to speak with Gray. She finally reveals her personal history with Dylan, and Gray is far from happy. Later, Simon drops by the precinct to let Nolan know the charges have been dropped after the judge saw how dedicated he was to his training officer. Commander West pulls his son aside to ask why he's been so distant from the family lately. He wants West to be more open with him. As they leave, West confides in Lopez about a felon who made comments about his father's shady past. Lopez reassures him, saying his dad is as by the book as they come. They arrive at the home of their final suspect, Samantha, who is waving a bat at neighbors while desperately trying to find her family. Jenkins' false testimony shattered her life, and now she's just trying to reconnect with her loved one. Back at the station, Commander West checks in with Gray about his son's progress. He's concerned about how distant West has been in recent weeks and starts to question whether Lopez is the right training officer. He admits he originally wanted Bradford to take on that role, but Gray cuts him off, reminding him to let the department handle things their way. Commander West then warns Gray that the commissioner will be closely examining their precinct, so he better make sure nothing questionable comes back to haunt him. Later, Lopez and West bring in a new suspect. Lopez decides to mess with him a bit by assigning Wesley as his legal counsel. While Wesley discusses his client's rights, Lopez flirts by playing footsie under the table, sparking a steamy moment between them afterward. Meanwhile, West decides to confront his father about the convict's accusation, but instead of a heart-to-heart, Commander West reacts angrily, threatens him, and tells him to get out of his sight. At the end of his shift, Commander West pulls his son aside to apologize for how he acted earlier. He admits that, back in the day, they sometimes cut corners to secure conviction. West struggles to process the idea that his father might have crossed the line. Commander West insists he was never dirty and never planted evidence, but West isn't convinced. As he's leaving, West runs into Lopez, who shares some uplifting news. She was able to get Samantha released from prison and reunited her with her family, finally giving her a chance to rebuild her life. Meanwhile, Bradford and Chen check in on a suspect, Max Kegel, Troy Ruptat, who's in the hospital with what appears to be food poisoning. He recently married his prison pen pal, Alicia, Nicole Steinwedel, and says he wants to stay on the straight and narrow for her. But it turns out the food poisoning was actually real poison. His wife tried to kill him. Later, they respond to another call involving a paintball group, where one man ends up with a branch stuck in his shoulder. Bradford and Chen search the course to track down the person responsible. Once they find him, Bradford fires off a few paintball shots to take him down. Before wrapping up, they head back to the field to enjoy a few rounds of paintball themselves. Overall, Homefront was a solid episode. It gave us a glimpse into the legal side of policing, showing how lawsuits and overturned convictions are just part of the reality officers face. Talia's backstory got some much-needed attention, adding more depth to one of the show's most overlooked characters. Her journey explains why she's so strong, yet guarded and cautious. We also saw some progress in the West family storyline, revealing that their seemingly flawless image might not be so flawless after all. What did you think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below.